Hello and welcome to a Kooky Corner of YouTube. Today we are going to do something that we have done previously, but we're going to do it in a slightly different way. It's a little bit of a ritual for me to make some kind of pumpkin art in a hoop, and so that's what we're going to do today. Now I'm just going to show you a couple that I made last year, which were these two. So these little pumpkin guys here, these is my little OG pumpkin character guys, and this one's the one with the ghosty. So these were ones I made last year. This year I'm just going to go up an inch. So I think these were 5-inch hoops. This one's going to be a 6-inch hoop. Now, as with these ones, I have painted them, and I have also waxed the paint so that it's kind of all set and lovely and all that jazz. And what I'm going to do, I'll show you a little picture of what I've got in mind, is this. So I'm going to do a stack of 3 pumpkins, but instead of doing a fabric background, I'm kind of considering doing a needle felted background. I may change my mind, but I'm thinking that I'm going to do a needle felted background, and I am going to, just by way of a change, because you can still stitch into a needle felted background. So I think that's the way I'm going to go. So I'm going to grab myself a piece of black felt as a base, and then I'm just going to needle felt into it. I'm not sure whether to go black or blue. I think it'll be black. Black will go better. Yeah, I think so. So I'm going to grab all my supplies and I'm going to get going with this. Okay, so I've loaded up my hoop with some black felt on the base. It is an acrylic wool mix felt. It's not pure wool, but that is going to be perfect for putting my needle felting onto. Now the next thing I need to do is decide what colours that I'm going to put as a base. I'm thinking, because I've got a nice black background, I don't need to add any black in, but what I do need to add is maybe some greenery. So I'm thinking I might add some green in there, maybe put some different colours in the sky. I'm not sure yet. I may leave that just as pure black felt, but I'm going to have a little consider, and I'll be back with the colours that I'm going to needle felt into. Now I've put it all in the hoop to start off with, but when I'm needle felting, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it over and needle felt there, take it out, and then re-hoop it, because that way it's flat against the surface that I'm going to be needle felting into. So I've got a little foam pad, I'm going to needle felt into that. It just makes, instead of bouncing everywhere, it will just lay flat, and then I'll just re-hoop it when I've done all my needle felting that I'm going to do. What I'm going to use for this are some needle felting tools, which I'll also grab out when I get my wools, and we'll just do a little spot of stabbing, shall we? Let's do that. So I grabbed out this green roving. It's kind of a rough roving. I quite like that. I got a little bit of this pumpkin orange. I don't know if I'm going to use that or not, but I've also got some of this variegated fluff that may make its way into it. So I'm going to start my base, and I'm going to grab a bit of this green. Still bits of you'll always find this in roving. There's always little bits of where the sheep has been still left in it, which I find quite endearing, actually. I quite like that. So I'm going to get myself some kind of a base and pop some of this in as well. So just putting a few bits and bobs down. Add a bit more of the green on top. Okay, let's have a go. Start a little stabbing process here. You can always add more in. You can lift it up if you don't like it as well, so it's very forgiving. Straight in and out motion of stabbering, and because I can see where that edge is, I can work to it, so that's good. I like to get a bit of variation in the ground because you don't want it to be all one colour, because that's the joy of needle felting, isn't it, that you can get some variation in. I haven't got my microphone on today, so I'm hoping that my camera, oh hello, hoping that my camera is picking it up. Might need to have some more over this side. Let's add a little bit more in there. So you can kind of judge where you're up to with it. Let me lift this camera up a little bit. There we go. And keep catching the arm of the camera. So hopefully you can still hear me. I do apologise, but sadly that's the way it is at the minute. I am waiting for a new microphone to arrive, because my other one is crackling for some strange reason. Only occasionally. I'm not quite sure whether it was a connection that made it crackle. Got any microphone geniuses out there that can let me know? That would be awesome. I think I am going to leave that top black actually, because I don't want to detract away from the main object of this, which is going to be the pumpkin guys. It doesn't really take long to get a base down, to be honest. I need to get some more into that bit there. And just be careful when you're doing this that you don't hit the wood with the needles, because they will break. Try not to do that. Yeah, when I paint the hoop, I only paint the outer hoop because that's the only bit that gets seen, really. So you need to paint the inner bit. That's if you want to paint it, you could just leave it as it is. Or you could take it out of the hoop altogether and just frame it somewhere other way. Or use it as a cover for something. The world is your lobster, she said, stabbing away. See if I've got anything else in there that I could use. A little bit like greeny yellow, just down on this side, I think. Now, just to be awkward, on my previous ones, the characters were in a felt. For this one, I've got a pattern that will be available on my or in my Facebook group in the files section, and you can either do them in the felt or you can do them in material. And just by way of a change, I have done mine. Well, I'm going to be doing mine in a material. I seem to have felted that to the base. Let's pull it up. Should remember to do that occasionally. You can tell it's felted. You turn it over and you can see all those little wefty bits there. But I'm just going to give it, it doesn't have to be too precise or too smooth because it's going to be a backing. So it's not like it's the main event in this piece. It is just going to be there for grounding for the main event, which are the 3 pumpkins. I'm just going to try if I can get that little bit of wood out of there where the sheepies have rubbed up against things. Now I might just get that in there because I want to try and get all of the bit where the pumpkins are going to sit. So you have to be careful when you get right to the edges that you angling your needles away from the wood of the frame. Trying to grab some of that down there, stab it in. Now on the pattern I have left that little picture that I showed you so that you can position in the same places if you want to, but to be honest you can do it however you like. You could stack them like a totem pole if you wanted to. The patterns are there for you to play with as much as you like. And you might want to just do your own. You might not need my pattern at all. You know, you do you, for sure. So if you feel you need that little bit of extra, that's where they will be for you. And otherwise, you can just go for it. Okay, I'm thinking that's good to go near enough. Might just tamp a few more bits down. These edgy bits, perhaps, that need a little extra. Now, I would be using my 5 needle for this one. Misplaced it somewhere on this very hugely messy desk, so I've gone with the 3 needle. This is a clover tool, and it's got Heidi Feathers needles in it. Heidi Feathers are very much recommended for your felting needles and all other kinds of needle felting accoutrements. I'll leave a link to Heidi Feathers in the description box below. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Right, let's take it off a piece of foam. I can see that it's felted perfectly well. I'm going to take it out of the hoop and turn it over. The trick is now trying to get it to the right place. But we shall persevere. Okay, so this is now, instead of going to be on the back, it will be on the front. I can see another bit of detritus in there that I need to pull out. As you're going, kind of eyeball it and see where you might need to. I'm trying to get to the point where, and it can be removed and put back in again. It's not the end of the world. So there we've got my piece all framed up and ready for the pumpkins. Now, the sun has all gone in, so I'm going to have to put my blind back up again so I can get some more light on the matter. So bear with me a second. Yeah, it's a very autumnal day. I'm just going to, you can still keep stabbing, just remember to keep away from the wood parts. Okie dokie. I'm going to tighten that up now. Remember which way it screws to tighten. That's probably the way. Yeah, that's it. So it's nice and tight. Now I leave this edge around the back with about 1 inch or so of extra, because that's how I finish it up on the back there. We'll pull all this in and then we'll back it. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. Now I have cut out my pumpkin shapes. I don't know what they look like yet because I've not taken the pins out. But we'll have a look, because what we're going to do is add in some embroidery to bring these guys to life. So those are my 3 pumpkins that I've cut out. And now I shall locate the little drawing and we'll have a look for position. Okay, so I've got my little, so here's that one, here's that one, and here's that one on top there. Right, okie doke. Let's leave that there. So I've had a look through my stash and picked out some colours that I thought would go. Little edges off there. So he kind of sits there. The next one is this one. Pumpkins are all different colours, aren't they? I love the colours of pumpkins. They are really lovely, especially when you see fields of them together. So that one is kind of cheek to cheek with the other one. Cheek to cheek. And then this one is balanced on the top. And it's in this rather nice browny coloured twill stuff. You put them how you like them, however you want them to go. So that's my choices down. And I'm now going to use the pins I just took out to pin them onto the base of the felt. So just to give me some stability of how they're going to fit. Pin them in. These appliqué pins are the best. I love them. They are clover appliqué pins. I have 3 boxes of them because I love them so much, and I keep them in my sewing kits, so I've always got a set to play with when I need them. I tend to use them for everything now, not just appliqué, because they are so short and they don't stab me. Well, they don't stab me as much as others do. Now, because I am lazy, the bits that are covered over, this is why I've positioned them down like this. The bits that are covered over, I'm not going to stitch. I'm just going to stitch down the bits that I need to stitch. So my main thing with this one, I might need a couple more pens. Come in this little handy dandy box as well, which is good to stick in your sewing kit. The main thing I need to do is to get the outlines down, and then I can start playing around with the embroidery that goes on this as well. So what I want to do is to pick out something that I can go over sew on the edges with. So that's the next thing, is picking out some threads. So I've picked out these threads. Let me move that out of the way for a second. That one is an anchor thread, and these are all DMC. I don't really worry which ones I use, to be honest. They're all pretty good. The Wonderful ones are excellent if you get those, but there are much less on a ball than there are on the DMC and anchor. I think there's about 10 grams on these, and there's only 5 on the Wonderful, and they are a lot more expensive, but that's to be expected because they're variegated and special colorways and things, and I love those as well. So it really doesn't matter what you've got. If you've got stranded floss, the 6-stranded embroidery floss, that's fine as well. Just make sure that you are using 2 strands of it, or 3 strands, to make up for the thickness of this pearl. I mean, you don't have to. You might want to do some kind of invisible stitch where it's not, where it blends into your fabric, but I'm gonna go with, for outlining all of my pumpkins, or the over sewing part of it, I'm going to go with this because it's variegated. This one is a DMC Cotton Pearl 51. So that's the one I'm going with. And I've got to find the start of it now. There we go. So on the Wonderful ones, they are variegated. The variegation comes much sooner in them, should I say. Where are my scissors? Scissoroos. Grab a little bit off there. Need to find my needles. Everything's gone haywire lately. I've been very busy with artwork and such, so the needly stuff has kind of been pushed to the back of my desk for the moment. It will be coming to the fore because I've got lots of things still planned for this month that I will be sharing with you. I'm also away next weekend, and so I have to make sure that I have got everything done before I go away. Lots of fun. Lots of fun. Okay. I'm hoping that the camera is still picking up my words, otherwise it'll be voice over me. But so my main objective now is to get these oversewn, and I'm going to go in from the back. I put a needle in. I put a knot in my thread. I've got quite a long thread there as well. Shouldn't really have such a long thread because it can be quite problematic and get knotted and stuff. And I'm just doing an oversew around the edges, and I'm going to go all around the whole lot of it, just oversewing the edge. Now you can do it however you want to. This is just the way I'm doing mine. So I'm going to oversew all around the edges just to get those all down. So I'm going to go and sit with a cup of coffee and my Audible book and I will be back when I've oversewn my way around all of these. Okay, so I've got sunshine on my desk again, apologies, but I think we can still see, hopefully. And I think the microphones are working okay, hopefully. Anyway, I have finished sewing around the edge of my pumpkins, and I have now, the next thing I want to do is to put the eyes in so that they don't, so I know where to put the stitching basically on them so they don't get in the way. So I use this magic pen by Madeira, which fades after a while in heat and air. It's like an air fading one. And I've marked a position on each of the pumpkins where I want the eyes to go. I've got 3 different sizes of brads here just because I want to be awkward. So for the biggest one, I've got these bigger brads. Now these were brass ones that I actually painted with enamel paint. Went a bit extra on those. Yeah, they were just brass paper tacks that I painted. These are the small ones for the smallest pumpkin, and these are just slightly bigger than the small ones. I don't know if you can see. Let me hold them up without losing all of them so you can see the difference in size. She says losing one. So can you see? There's just slightly bigger on that one. So I thought small pumpkin, medium-sized pumpkin, big pumpkin. Yeah, that's the plan. Right, I've got my awl and all the way through, and just give it a little twisty. And again on that one, kind of supporting the fabric underneath where I'm pushing it through, but not really too worried about it. So these are the small ones. It goes through there and it opens out at the back. Hopefully, if I can get hold of the little prongy bit. Trying to find the edges of it and opening them out in the back there. Second one. Is that the second one? That's the second one there. So that goes in and open out the prongy bits at the back. And it kind of gives a little bit of dimension to it as well. The felting underneath is also giving it a little bit of dimension, which is quite nice. Quite like that. Okay, so let's get the medium ones in. Helps if I push the holes in first, doesn't it? Twisty. And in a bit of a twisty. Okay, that goes in there. Open out the prongy bits. Some are easier than others. There we go. And that one there. I do love this idea for eyes. I think I use it in almost everything now. You could easily use French knots, a button, or some extra felt if you don't have these, there are ways around this. I just like these because the eyes shine then on the piece. You can see that shine going on there, the kind of twinkle. Twinkly-eyed pumpkins. And these are a bit bigger, the chonky boys. So I might take a bit more getting in. I might have to put a bit more hole in this to get it in. Come on, play the game. I just want to give this one bigger eyes. There we go. Oh yeah, looks a bit cute. I like that. Right, I'm going to position the prongs so that they're not going to get in the way of my stitching. Because the prongs on these bigger ones are quite a bit bigger. There we go. Flatten that one out. And see if this one will go without too much bother. Yeah. Oh, he looks happy. So yeah, it was just I did those with as I say, the brass tacks, and what I did was I painted them with enamel paint that you'd use to paint miniatures and things, and they worked out rather nicely. Look, they're very shiny, very soft and shiny. So if you don't have the colours, then that's an option. Get one of those tiny little tins of miniature enamel paint, and you're good to go with some eyeballs. Okay, so now the next thing, this sun is really annoying me at the minute. Let's see if I can tilt a bit. So now I'm going to do some stitching, and I want to put the lines on my pumpkins. So I'm going to get some black pearl thread, and I am going to thread up my needle. And what I'm going to do, what I'm going to attempt to do, is to couch the thread on rather than doing stitching. You could do it either way. You could do like just stitches, back stitching all the way, but I want to try one with some couching at least, and if it doesn't work, I'll do back stitching on the other ones. So I'm going to go and get my needle, and we'll do that now. Okay, so I've got my black pearl thread, which I am looking for scissors now. There we go. I seriously need to clean my desk. It is a whole heap of trouble at the moment. There are so many things piled on here that I literally can't find the things I'm looking for, so it needs to be addressed, should I say. Let's take that back up there. Do apologise for sun. I know that if I take the blind down though, it just gets really dark, but sadly at the minute the angle of the sun coming through the window can't really do much about. Okay, needle threaded. Which one am I going to try? I'll try this one. So I'm going to, from the top and down to the bottom like so, and then I'm going to kind of with my thumb hold it in place. So you've not got like a straight line, you want it to be slightly curved because it's not a straight line, it's on a curvaceous shape. So ooh, I'm being attacked by everything now. Yeah, every time I come into the studio, I kind of shout at everything in the room saying, "Why are you so messy?" And the room says, "Well, it's all your fault. You've done all this. You brought it on yourself." Does anybody else's room talk to them? I need to find some time to do some proper sorting, and at the minute I don't have that time. It's everything seems to be going on at the same time. I'm not sure. No, I don't like it. Got to try and undo it now. I thought I'd give it a shot, and it's always worth a shot. And if I did it differently, maybe, or maybe in a different colour, if I did it in like a brown or something, maybe it might look better. But no, I'm not a fan. Well, I've just got to undo it all now. It was worth a go. I've got to try new things just to see whether they work or not, and it kind of worked, but I'm not happy. Not happy with it. So I'm going to, oh yeah, it's another one there. Pull it out and rethink my position. I think I'm just going to go back stitch. Yeah. Let's see how that looks. If I hate that as well, then maybe I'll change the colour. I'm liking this a bit better. If you wanted to, you could actually use that Madeira Magic pen that I used to position the eyes, and you could actually draw some lines on to do your embroidery against, because it will fade. The pen line, not the embroidery. Yeah, I was just throwing it out to too many angles for my liking when I tried to do the couching method. So let's have a little look and I'll review it in a minute. Don't worry as well, if you pull out some of your threads as you're stitching, just go back in, couch them down. Everything's good. It's all good. Everything's fine. Okie dokie. Yeah, I'm liking that better. Yeah. So I'm going to put my little lines in. Now, the reason I put the eyes in first is so that I can see where I'm stitching to, because I didn't want to be trying to poke the eyes through a place where some stitching was, if that makes any sense. So there we go. I'll come to the eye. I'm going to angle my way around it. Should have gone a bit longer with that stitch maybe, but hey. Go back in. I'm going to come out at the other side of it. There we go. And back stitching all the way. Yeah, so try things out. Always try them out. And if you don't like it, change it. That's what I say. What was that advert that used to be on? Hate something, change something. It was like, hate something, change something. Or maybe that was just one of my cheese dreams. I don't know. Right, okay, so I am going to stitch on my lines for my pumpkins. I'm going to maybe try and do a darker brown on some of them, just to see how it looks. So maybe, who knows? And when I'll be back, I'll have backstitched all the lines on my pumpkins and we'll have a look at what is next. And hopefully the sun by that time will have shifted around a bit. Okay, so I have literally just finished doing all the lines on my pumpkin, and then I had an idea. I have got some Inktense pencils. One of them is natural brown and one is burnt umber, and I just wanted to add some definition onto my pumpkin. So this one's the natural brown, which I've got one of these Caran d'Ache boards for aquarelle pencils, It's like a little palette, and you just scrub your pencil onto it. I've got kind of a fine brush. This is a Pro Art. Oh no, it's not. It's the Silverado number 2. And all I'm doing is kind of just adding some little bits of shading in. Kind of having a bit of fun. Just before I put the details of the mouth and cheeks on. Because I just wanted to try it. I've used, obviously, the Inktense before on fabric, and it's quite a nice way, and I just remembered, I could probably try and add some of that in. So I'm going to go with the burnt umber for this one, because it's a little bit darker, and this is a darker brown, although you probably can't really tell from the with the camera. It's just a tiny bit of water, as much as you need to get some kind of a shading process going, and then just adding it in. I quite like this. This is a really good way of adding some definition in. If you're going a bit hard, just add a bit more water. It's quite fun. I'm putting some on the bottoms of the pumpkins. Just to give a little bit of the same definition. So I'm enjoying the process. I'm quite liking how it's looking. And I'll probably add a little bit more just down this one side here and on the edges. And once it's on, it's going to be permanent. It's not going to be washed, so I don't have to worry. Although allegedly these are supposed to be heat set when you they are already set, so to speak, when they dry. So because it's ink based, maybe. Right, what do I go with? Let's go with a natural brown again. If you ever want like detailed lines, you could just go in with your pencil as well. You can add shading in that way, and then go in with your wet brush. But sometimes that can just be too dark. I'm going to try a little bit more there, just where I want it to be, because there's 2 different ways. Well, I'm presuming there are many different ways you could do this. I think I get more control if I put it onto the board first. I can kind of, it feels like I've got more control, should I say. I'm really enjoying this. And you don't have to worry about it bleeding, because it's not going to stay in any lines. It doesn't need to stay in lines of any kind. So I'm just playing at the moment. I think that's added some definition in there. I have to wait and see what it looks like when it's dry. If the darker one was, you know, not working, but I think it is. If it wasn't, then I would probably maybe go in with a bit of black. But this very dark burnt umber seems to be working quite well on these. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. If I didn't want to put it on the thread, I could have also just painted these, or painted the areas where the shading wanted to be before I stitched them. But I quite like that it knocks back the very brightness of the stitch on that one. Quite liking that. So this is a little bit of fun and trying something new. Yeah, I think I like that. So I'll wait for that to dry now, and then we'll do the stitching on the mouth areas and the cheeks. That's the other thing I want to do. I'm not sure whether to put cheeks on all of them or just on a couple of them, and maybe even in felt. I did consider needle felting the cheeks on, but I'm thinking maybe I'll try and do them a little bit more defined. So yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I have had a little bit of fun and took a little bit of time with the cheeks. Instead of putting some felt cheeks on, I decided to go with the ink tints again. So I used tangerine and paprika. So tangerine was that one, paprika was that one. For this one, because it wasn't showing up too greatly, what I did was I used one of these acrylic markers and I just put some water to it and put it on with a brush. So you can kind of see like a little vague. I didn't want it to be too in your face. I either go very in your face or subtle. And so for this one I went subtle. So also while I've been gone, I have put some little brown felt stalks on and just stitched those down as well. So what I need to do now is add in their mouths. And while I was thinking about it, I thought about the greenery and I realised I got some dyed locks. These are pure wool. They come from a lovely company, which I'll put details of in the description box below, because I can't actually remember rightly at the moment. But what I want to do is add some of these in. I don't want to go too crazy, but you know, why not? So I was going to try and pull them apart, and then I thought that's not really going to work with this. So let's try and trim that one a little bit. And what I thought is I could needle felt them in place. That is the thought anyway. And it looks like it may work. I want to take that one up there a little bit. I want it kind of coming off to the side. So I'm going to needle felt just the end in, but leave those bits free. It's quite dashing actually, with his little curls. Sorry for bashing the camera. But I thought that's a good option. I mean, this is just me using what I've got. You can make curls by taking some roving, damping it down and wrapping it around a dowel or something and leaving it to dry, and that will make some little curls like this. But these are natural curls from a sheep. So I thought I would go with that. So let's have a little look. I want that bit there, and I'll go with that bit there. And they can be for this guy here. So let me take that bit off there. Try and do this. I should get my mat, my felting mat, but I'm just going to lift it up and hold it. Oh, he's cute. Yes, yes, I like that. I might want to just trim that one slightly. There we go. Because pumpkins have these little tendrily green things coming from them, don't they? So I thought, oh, there's a thought. Now, that one, I think I want for that. And I'm just gonna do it in the middle, I think. She said, hopefully I can get that in position there. Got bits of tendril coming everywhere. Away with you, tendrils. Let's get you down into there. Yeah, I'm liking that. I've got extra bits I can just get rid of. I'm going to neaten this up when I've finished. I'll just make sure they're nicely felted in. Oh, I'm kind of liking that. Right, so mouths. I'm going back to my black thread. These are a simple V-stitch. On one of them I have done, it's got like a little little upside down Emma mouse that I might try and replicate for this one. Get rid of the brown thread. The sun has gone in, it's official. So my desk is vaguely clear. Right, let's do the V's first. So let's get their mouths in here. I'm just going to go across to there. I'm going to come up vaguely there. And that's one mouth done. Yay! It's a happy pumpkin. Okay, let's fasten that one off. Fasten that off at the back. Snippy snip. And we will do considering the little stitchy upside down M mouth. Let's do that one next, shall we? Okay, so right, I think I've got a handle on this one, maybe. So I'm going to go across to there. And I'm going to put a little stitch in there. And stitch there. And then I'm going to come up right where it first went in with that stitch there. And across to there. And about yeah. So he's got that little oh, I do get so amused by these. They make me happy. I hope you're enjoying them too. It's just the different ways you can put something together. So these I've done on needle felter background, and really enjoying how they're going together. I'm considering putting something there, but I'm not quite sure what, so I'm going to think about that one. So I am going to get this in here, stitchy down there. Hey, 3 happy pumpkins. It's sticking up a bit there. Do it now. I'm going to leave it free to float in the breeze. It would take away the effect if I try and needle file that down. So let's have a look at what we've got here. Little thready bits. I shall tidy up in a moment. Yay! I don't know what I'd put down there if I'd put something down there. I did consider a mouse, but I think maybe I'm just taking this overboard a little bit too much. So I'm going to leave this video here. I'm going to think on what I might put there, and I'll be back pretty soon because I'll have thought of it pretty soon. So it won't be long until I'm back to show you how I finish off this. There's going to be a few more extra stitchy things going on with this as well. But for now, I think that that's plenty for you to be getting on with and to think about. So don't worry if you haven't got the ink tent and things. It was just me having a thought and thinking, I wonder how that would go. As I say, I've used it on fabric before and it's worked perfectly well. So I thought, okay, let's do it. So I did. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed having a look at this, and you'll be back for, it's going to be a smallish part 2, probably a 10-minute ending. I'm going to show you finishing touches and how to finish off your hoop at the back so that it looks nice and neat. So do come back and join me for that. In the meantime, have a great evening, and I will see you back here very soon with something else. Bye for now.